The Montana wind hissed through the dry grass, brushing the porch rails like a warning too soft to heed. I sat on the steps of my farmhouse, one boot firm, the other tapping a restless rhythm. Inside, my 8-year-old daughter, Emily, was screaming. "Max, don't go." Her cries cut like shrapnel. Every instinct screamed to burst through the door, scoop her up, and silence her pain. But I didn't. I trusted the process. Exposure, resilience, the therapist called it. My jaw clenched, holding back the urge to act. Then Max's barking started, low, steady, controlled, not panicked, not aggressive. He was working. Inside, Emily was curled tight, sobbing, but Max, her 3-year-old German shepherd, pressed his nose to her cheek, his weight grounding her. Deep pressure therapy, they said. To me, it was love with a mission. I stepped inside. Emily's screams had faded to ragged breaths. Max lay across her, amber eyes flicking to me, then back to her. I knelt, brushing damp hair from her forehead. "You're okay, kiddo," I whispered. Her hand gripped his fur like a lifeline. Outside, the plains were quiet, but my gut churned. Something darker was coming. I wasn't just Ethan Cole, grieving father. I was a former Special Forces operator, and someone was about to learn what happens when you cross my family. 3 days later, the devil knocked, wearing a beige blazer and heels that clicked like gunfire. Margaret Walsh stood on my porch, radiating ownership, her smile all teeth, no heart. "Mr. Cole," she purred, "we need to discuss community concerns." I blocked the door, Emily's fragile laughter with Max faint behind me. "Speak," I said. Her eyebrow arched. "It's about that dog. He's large, intimidating. Some residents, especially parents, are concerned." "My daughter's a child," I growled. "Max saved her twice this week." Her smile twitched, annoyance flashing. "I understand, but from an HOA liability perspective," I cut her off. "You're not the law, Margaret. You don't decide what's dangerous with your clipboard and fake authority." She pulled a manila envelope from her bag, brandishing it. "This is a formal notice. Provide Max's certifications, vet records, and psychological necessity within 72 hours, or we'll proceed." I snatched the envelope, tossing it into the dirt. "Proceed that?" Her mask slipped, eyes venomous. "You think you're untouchable out here? You and your broken kid?" I stepped forward, she stepped back. "Never say her name again," I said, voice low. "Lethal. You want to fight? You've got one. Don't bring a clipboard to a war." She sneered, "You'll regret this, Ethan. This community has rules," and stormed off, heels slicing my grass. She wasn't enforcing safety, she was a tyrant addicted to control, targeting the one thing keeping Emily alive. Max wasn't just a service dog, he was her shield. Margaret had declared war on the wrong family. 2 mornings later, I was 40 miles north on a contracting job, cell signal spotty. My phone buzzed. Anna, our babysitter, sobbing. "They took Max." My blood froze. "Who?" "Margaret, with 2 men claiming to be from public health. They had papers, badges, said Max was a health risk." I floored the gas. "Where's Emily?" She tried to stop them, grabbed his leash, begged. One guy pushed her off. Margaret didn't flinch. "They injected Max with something calming serum," she called it. He collapsed. Emily's screaming. "Thinks she killed him." My vision narrowed. "They said I signed consent." "They lied." Anna cried. "Please hurry." Emily's barely breathing. I hung up, rage cold and absolute. This wasn't an HOA stunt, it was assault, kidnapping, impersonation, drugging a registered service animal in front of a traumatized child. Margaret had timed it, knowing my schedule, striking when I was gone. I grabbed my satellite phone, the red one I swore I'd never use again unless someone touched Emily. "Ramirez," a voice answered. "It's Cole," I said. "They hit my house, took Max, drugged him. Emily's down. Margaret Walsh committed 4 felonies. "Response time?" Ramirez asked. 3 minutes, I said. Visible loud. "I want her to hear the choppers." "Copy. Tactical en route. Target, Margaret Walsh." The soldier in me was back, not retired, just waiting. Margaret had opened Hell's Gate. The wind roared as I gunned my military dirt bike across the plains, dusk bleeding red. My drone hummed in my pack, primed for action. I wasn't heading home, I was hunting. Margaret's house loomed on the ridge, white stucco, hedges perfect, her HOA throne. Lights glowed, curtains shut, but I didn't need to see her. I knew where the predator lived. She'd stolen Emily's lifeline, thinking I was just a dad with a dog. She was about to meet the man who trained Delta Force. My GPS pinged Max's tracker, still active, not at her house, but a cattle pen 2 miles away, hidden. Smart, but not smart enough. I killed the engine, crouched behind a fence post, and launched the drone. Its feed showed 2 armed men, one smoking, one pacing, and Margaret, stepping from a van, clipboard in hand, sunglasses on at night. Max lay in the back, muzzled, sedated but breathing. My heart cracked, but I whispered, "Hold on, buddy." I pressed a button. The drone dropped a steel-edged net, trapping the men. Margaret shrieked, stumbling, dropping her clipboard. I roared downhill, bike screaming, and unleashed a whistle. Cattle thundered from the brush too. 000 pounds of chaos. Margaret tripped, rolling into manure, screaming as hooves pounded past, one grazing her shoulder. I stopped beside her, boots crunching. She lifted a bloody, dirt-caked face. "You'll be arrested," she gasped. "This is terrorism." "No," I said, voice steel. "This is consequence. You drugged my daughter's dog, assaulted her, faked federal authority." I pinned her blazer to the dirt. "You picked the wrong fight." She reached for her phone. I crushed it under my boot. "I'll ruin you," she spat. "You already did," I said. "Now I rebuild on your ashes." I zip-tied the men, dragging them beside her. "This a kidnapping?" she screamed. "Containment," I replied, pulling a matte black smoke grenade. Her eyes widened. "What's that?" "Military issue, for extractions," I said, setting it down, red light blinking. 30 seconds. "You're bluffing," she cried. "I don't bluff." One man whimpered. The other panicked, pleading family. "She was my family," I snarled. "You left her screaming." At 5 seconds, Margaret tried crawling away. I shoved her back. "Feel your fear, Margaret. Stronger than your perfume." The grenade popped, white smoke choking them. They screamed, one tripping, all 3 collapsing in terror. As it cleared, Margaret sobbed, makeup smeared, pride gone. "You made Emily fear life," I said. "Now you'll fear yours." I freed Max, his dazed eyes meeting mine. "Welcome back, soldier." I zip-tied Margaret to her van's bumper, her patrol vehicle now a symbol of her fall. Her blazer was torn, her knees raw. I duct-taped her to a stolen HOA lawn chair, strapped to the hitch. "This proves nothing," she screamed. "It proves your throne's built on fear," I growled. The bike roared, dragging her chair half a mile through her protected community past hedges, mailboxes, the HOA booth, to the field where Max once played. Residents watched, silent. I cut the engine. She tumbled into the dirt. "Feel the grit," I asked. "That's what this place, isn't it, your rules?" She spat blood. "You'll go to prison." "No," I said. "I've got footage, witnesses, your crimes." A neighbor shouted, "We warned you, Margaret." I untied her, leaving her broken in the grass. "This isn't revenge," I said loud enough for all. "It's a reminder. You break people, you get broken." At the HOA office, I stormed in with Max, bandaged but alert. "I need the board," I told the trembling receptionist, slamming down a flash drive. In the conference room, I played the footage: Margaret seizing Max, her men drugging him, her mocking Emily's screams, her throne ride. The board was speechless, faces pale. "You empowered her," I said. "You let her terrorize kids like mine." I tossed down federal papers. "I'm a DoD security consultant, now your temporary auditor. I own your books, every fraud, every cover-up." Chaos erupted. 2 members fled, 1 stayed, whispering, "We'll cooperate." Outside, neighbors posted Margaret's shamed face with "No more tyrants." Her house was taped off, her truck impounded. Deputy Callahan called. "She's in custody, assault, animal cruelty, fraud." The internet exploded with the footage. Margaret's husband fled with their dog, leaving her alone. At an emergency meeting, neighbors demanded reform. I handed over my audit, every illegal fine, every misused fund. "Burn it if you want," I said. Emily, healing, asked about the HOA sign she'd been forced to repaint. I grabbed a sledgehammer and smashed it to rubble under a cheering crowd. Emily came home weeks later, Max at her side. She insisted on finishing our mailbox, painted bright blue, her choice. We sat under its glow, the plains quiet. "I still see her," she whispered. "Me too," I said. "Why do people hate what's different?" "It scares them," I replied. "But we're still here." At trial, Margaret got 15 years for assault, cruelty, and fraud. The HOA rewrote its rules, prioritizing fairness. Emily smiled again. Max's tail thumped. I'd burn Margaret's empire, not with rage, but with proof. Some call it vengeance. I call it restoration. Faced a tyrant who attacked your peace? Share below. Your story might spark courage.